it's Jessie V. So today's story takes place back in December, so this was pretty recent. And it's also super weird, and I'm very glad I'm safe because in a way, the story I'm about to tell you is like really dangerous. I was in a pretty dangerous situation, which when am I not, right guys? When am I not? So my dad goes on business trips every once in a while, so it usually ends up just being my mom and I in the house for like 3 or 4 days. My sister is no longer living with us. She lives closer to her work, so she's not really around either. It's usually just my mom and I, bonding time. But yeah, the week that this story takes place, we ran out of like essential items in the fridge, like eggs, milk, what have you. So because my dad was away on business, I decided that I would just go to the store and get these things for my mom. I was like, don't worry mom, I will go to the grocery store. You just chill on the couch and watch some TV. I think The Bachelor's on. Watch that, relax, I'll be back in a jiffy. Does anybody say jiffy anymore? Is jiffy like something from like 10 years ago? So I drove over to the grocery store, and this particular night it was pretty snowy and pretty cold, so there weren't as many people in the parking lot because I guess they were at home warm in their houses like I should have been. But I mean, we needed milk, you know, like what am I supposed to have with my cereal the next day? I need milk. Got milk. That's a really old commercial. So anyways, I was able to park relatively close to the entrance, and when I got out of my car, I saw this man kind of standing right in front of the doors to the grocery store. He looked really anxious because he kept kind of shifting from side to side and like fiddling around with his fingers like this. He was also like stroking them through his hair, which I noticed that people do when they're really stressed out. Like when my dad is stressed out, he's always like doing this thing, you know? I also noticed that his jeans, like around the knee area, was really dirty, and his coat looked way too big for him. Almost like it wasn't his. You know when you see someone super skinny, like their legs are almost like sticks? But then they're wearing like this super puffy coat, so they almost look like a popsicle or something. Bottom line is that this guy looked pretty sketchy to me. And normally I'm not one to judge somebody, especially by what they're wearing. I actually think it was more this guy's body language that was sketching me out. Just the way he was acting, he just looked really suspicious. And not to mention the fact that it was nighttime and I was by myself and I was the only other person besides him in the parking lot. I mean, that's bound to freak someone out, right? So I just decided to walk right up to the store like nothing was wrong. I tried not to make eye contact with him. I just walked casually as if I did it all the time. And just as I was about to enter the doors of the grocery store, this man calls over to me. And right when I hear his voice, I'm like, no, why? I was almost through these doors. Now I have to interact with somebody? Why? So he calls me miss, and he asks the weirdest thing. He asks me if he can sit in my car for a few minutes to warm up while I'm in the grocery store. Oh, and seeing him like closer up, like seeing his face closer, he kind of looked like he was in his early 30s, but definitely like kind of dirty and scraggly, like his beard hadn't been shaved in like a really long time. So I kind of felt bad for him when he asked me that. But at the same time, like I said before, I was alone. I had no friends or family with me, so letting him into my car would definitely be a little bit risky because there was absolutely no way that I could tell if he was being genuine or not. How did I know he was safe? Like, you just can't trust people these days. What if I let him into my car and then he wouldn't get back out? What if we were both in the car and he tried to kidnap me or do something worse? Like, how do I know? So all these scenarios were like running through my head, so I just looked at him and I politely declined, and then he asked me if I had any change on me, and that I could do for him because I had a $5 bill in my purse. So I pulled that out, I gave him the $5 bill, and he didn't even say thank you. Like, there was no thank you uttered from his lips. And I hate when that happens. Like, you're giving someone your hard-earned money and they don't say thank you. Like, I didn't have to do that, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I know they're struggling, but there's still such thing as respect and the word thank you. So anyways, I walked into the store and got the groceries that my mom needed, and everything was cool in there until I stepped back outside. That same man was standing in the parking lot right beside my car. Right beside my car. And normally in this situation I would have called my dad and he would have like come over because he's like the Hulk. He would have scared that man away. But because my dad was away on a business trip, I couldn't call him. I tried to call my boyfriend Kyle, but his phone went straight to voicemail, and I didn't want to call my mom because I didn't want to freak her out. She was home alone. What is she really gonna do about that, right? So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna walk really quickly and get straight into my car. I had a plan. I was just gonna go for it, right into my car, fast as lightning. Well, as I got closer to my car, he started calling over to me again. He asked me once again if he could just get into my car for 5 minutes so he could warm up. And it was so strange, guys, because in the exact same plaza as the grocery store, there was a Tim Hortons, like literally right beside it. And for those of you who don't know, Tim Hortons is a coffee shop, so he could literally just go in there to warm up for a few hours with the coffee. And he can't use the excuse that he doesn't have money because I just gave him $5. So he could go into the warm coffee shop. Why was he asking for my car? So that's what I said to him. I kind of pointed over to the coffee shop and I'm like, yeah, but like you could sit in there. I just gave you money. You can buy a coffee. And this made him super, super angry. He started cursing at me, calling me names, saying that I'm selfish. And then he just walks off in a fit of anger. And I was like super shocked and confused at his outburst. In fact, it actually made me physically jump when he started yelling. I mean, did he really expect that a girl that was all by herself was gonna let a strange man into her car? Did he really expect that? Like, come on. And forget me even being a girl. I don't think anyone, no matter what gender, would let a strange man into their car at night. Like, it's very strange. Like, yeah, I obviously really feel bad for him. He obviously is very desperate for food and for warmth, but I can't always be expected to provide that, especially when I'm alone, you know what I mean? It's very risky letting a stranger into your car. I would not recommend doing that. If I did, I might not even be here to tell you this story, so I think I made a good choice. Anyways though, guys, that is my story for today. As usual, my social media information is below, along with my vlog channel and my P.O. box information, so check that out. And until next time, guys, bye!